deep breath, will give us a reading, and then we'll go into prayer for about 5 minutes. Into meditation.
So let's just take a deep breath in and take the following words from Ernest Holmes. By some inner mystic presence, I was told to live and to love, to laugh and to be glad. I was told to be still and know of the one almighty power in and through all. I was told to let that power walk through me and in me. I believed that voice, and I received my good. So I'll just invite you to go inwards and listen for that voice so that you may receive that good. I'm so grateful and thankful that I know that there is a power beyond imagination that calls me the beloved, that's mighty, gracious, good, kind, generous, loving, joyful, peaceful, and abundant. I call it God. I call it Spirit. I know that that Spirit lives in me, is that mighty presence, that power that moves through me as me. I give great thanks for that. And I know that this mighty Spirit is here now, all around this space, wherever we are, in between and all time, at all times and at all space. I know that that Spirit moves in and through each and every one of us. Anyone hearing me is part of that Spirit, is one with that Spirit. I give great thanks for this. I know that this union, this coming together, this day, is part of that greatness, that power moving in and through us, bringing us together as one community, as one life, as one love. I give great thanks for that. I know that everything we do today is blessed by this one power. I know that Reverend Suzette speaks through this power, one with this power, as this power, and that Spirit moves mightily in her. I give great thanks that the music that we listen to today is also from that inspiration, that power. I bless this day. I bless everything that we do this day. I bless everyone that has said yes to coming together today. I know that we live in that love, in that power, and that power lives in us and does good through us, and we receive good through it. I'm so thankful. I bless everything that brings us together, the technology, everything that brought everything into being today. I give great thanks for it. I'm so mightily grateful. I let this power be that good in our lives today. Be that good that we see today. Be that good that we share with everyone we meet, wherever we meet them, through all time and space. And so it is.
Wow. Thank you. So I decided we're going to wait the announcement and let Joe sing instead, and then we'll do that at the other time, okay? So let's welcome Joe Rathburn.
Thank you. I noticed that the monthly topic this month is do what you love.
Love what you do.
Love what you do.
Yep.
Well, I just happen to have this song that I wrote. Do what you love. Love what you do. True love is growing inside of you. Give it away without any strings. Soon you'll be knowing what true love brings. True love never worries about what it's getting back. True love loves to give and then to give some more. True love can be serious as a heart attack, or it can laugh till its belly aches, in spite of some real bad breaks. So do what you love. Love what you do. True love is growing inside of you. Give it away without any strings. Soon you'll be knowing what true love brings. True love has ears as big as a pachyderm. True love loves to listen with its heart and soul. True love signs itself up for the real long term. It doesn't quit while the quitting's good. It wouldn't leave if it could. It ain't easy. Surprise takes lots of hard work to make us wise. True love is a job that you do that's never done. True love, but it's the only way you can grow. True love is learning that you're not the only one, but knowing only that by loving you can you hope to love others too. So do what you love and love what you do. That's right, 'cause true love is growing inside of you. So give it away without any strings. True, you'll be knowing what true love brings. Soon you'll be knowing what true love brings. True love. True love. True love. True love. True love. Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's funny because you just told my talk.
Good.
I might as well just, I wear good, life is good shirts, and you know what they say.
What's that?
Do what you like what you do. All right. Everybody get a yellow piece of paper. And who needs a pen? This is a working group today. And if you need a magazine, let us know. We'll get you a little magazine because you're going to do some writing. Should be a bunch of pens back there. Joe needs a piece of paper here. Joe's, sure. Well, this is interesting, guys, because today I'm going to be talking about, this is interesting. I'm using a different apparatus today, so it's letting me know what it wants and doesn't want. So today, well, let me first start out with, next week I'm going to Kansas City. He was going to sing that song. Kansas City, Missouri, to the ANTN conference, which I'm really excited about because this will be my second time going, but I get to speak. I know. So I'm very, very excited about it, and trying different technology. Otherwise, I have to carry a 17-inch laptop with me, and I don't want to do that. So so bear with me if this goes out. We'll maneuver through it. But the talk title today was really falling forward. But the interesting thing is, my talk is about your story is your power. Falling forward into your power, not just falling forward into nothingness. So I believe that we are brought here to do great things. We're brought here for a reason. Some of it's to learn our lessons, some of it's to get through those lessons, and some of them are to give them away. I think you're here today to give those lessons away. There's no mistake. So whatever you're going through, and today we're going to kind of go through a little bit of that, my story is going to be this big, but the lessons I've learned are this big. And if you like them, great, write them down. But what I don't really want my lessons. I want your lessons. What did you get out of this? And at the end, so there is a test. At the end, I want you to think of 1 or 2 words, because I'd like us to stand up and just say, here's what I want to give to the world. Are you ready to do that?
Yep.
You think you can do that? It's not scary, okay? It's not scary. All right. So, today is about looking at what happened along the way of becoming. I'll use me as the example. Some of you know my story, some of you don't know my story, and but again, it'll be very, very short. Things that I'm going to talk about are, one, your story. What's your story? So start thinking about that, and I'll give you a little time. We'll do a little meditation on that. What are some of the habits you had to let go of? What are some of the things you had to let go of? Because things don't always serve us in our method and in our life. We had to let go of something. Things that you discovered about yourself along the way. What did you discover about yourself? Who did you forgive along the way? I had some big forgiveness to give on mine. What are some of the conscious lessons you live by now? Because through our transition from the stuff that made us go to our knees to where we are today, something happened along the way that has changed you, that has made you better. And what is the gift you want to give all the time? That's where you're going to get to tell me. Now, I want to say that, well, let me first ask this. How many people think they have a story? Story. Story. Everybody should be raising their hand. Everybody has a story, okay? And the other the other question is, how many people during your time of your story say these things to you like, let go of your story? You can raise your hand if they said that. Just let go. You're better off without them, right? Or move on. They're tired of hearing your story. Or you'll get over it pretty soon. I like that one. You'll get over it. I couldn't get over it. The thing is that our stories impact us, not just psychologically, but physically and emotionally. And sometimes our story runs us. And I know for myself is that it prevented me from going the extra mile to get help. My story stopped me. And you'll hear it in a minute. The other thing, and this is kind of the opposite, sometimes when we have those deep stories, we meet up with people that like to help us with our stories. You know? So there are different reactions we get from our stories, and I just want us to be aware of it, because we're going to move past that. I want you to look at what the story is that made you better. So Thomas More says this. He says, if we do not grasp this alchemy of failure, then we stand a good chance of never succeeding. Comprehending the mystery in failure and acknowledging it is a necessity. It allows us to see through our inabilities and not overly identify with them. By appreciating failure with imagination, we reconnect with success. So your story is not a bad thing. It was not comfortable. Anybody want to admit it was comfortable? It was not comfortable, I know that. But by appreciating it, and if you're far along through the story, I'm like 30 years past it, so I can laugh at it now. But if you can do that, and you can see how you got to where you are now, you're successful with moving through it. Now, one of the things that, and most people don't know this, but I say this a lot, is that I love to listen to music while I'm writing my talks. And so I like to listen to Lady Gaga. Yay. I like to listen to Pink. She's one of my favorite. She just really, she talks about her life and how she's healed. And then last week, confession, I missed the Wednesday night program because I went to see Sarah McLachlan. Yeah. Boy, what a treat. And it's a funny thing is I'd had a really busy day, And I didn't even think about it. It's like, oh, we're going to the concert. So I went to the concert, and I'm sitting there. She hasn't even gone on stage, and I went, oh, I'm supposed to be somewhere else. Anyway, my team, troops that were on Wednesday night had a good time. I heard from other people, too. You laughed a lot, so I'm glad. I'm glad. But one of the things that I got from Sarah, which was so nice, it was so great, is that she was so human. She would say, here, I wrote this story, and here's why I wrote the story. And it helped me to understand why she was, and she says, I have a lot of sad songs. And I was like, yeah, you do. And she sang some happy songs, too, but the point being that she became, we could all relate to her. We could understand what she was talking about. And it didn't make us feel like she was better than us. In fact, she talked about how she always seemed to hook up with men that were gregarious and narcissistic. You know, and it was like, oh, I didn't know that about you. And but it made us realize that she wrote these songs to realize here's where I am in my life and how I'm going to get through this, which to me was really cool. The thing I want you to know is it's always easier to to see somebody else's story, right? I see your story, I see your story, I see your story. But it's not always easy to look at our own, right? And I know that every person in this room has had to look at their own. So I know I'm not speaking to people who don't understand this. But still, even today, it's hard for me to go, okay, I said that, you know. The thing I want you to know is I'm not going to dig up those things today. What I want you to do is to appreciate your story of getting up, of rising above, and to look deeper at what did you learn. You know, it's real easy to go around life and just be, ignoring those things going on around us, just hanging out, having a cup of coffee. But the truth is we are here to help other people. You come here to know that, to be reminded of that. That's our job. And it's not about being arrogant, and it's not about fixing people. It's about being present. Really, really, really present. Because, and this one kind of makes me want to cry, but I know for myself that I have been given an opportunity to be with people who can say whatever they want to say. And when they walk out the door, I know that they're healing. And that's a gift. It is a huge gift. People ask me, why do you do what you do, Suzette? You do it for free. Why do you do what you do? And I said, you know what? It isn't about that. It's all about how do we move society forward in a kind, loving way. How do we move things forward? So, and here's the other catch. This is very interesting. And I didn't realize I would write this, but I did. But the secret of giving the gift of your story is by not telling your story. Now you're going to hear a little bit of mine, but you're going to hear all the benefits. Because to me, you have to hear a little bit so it makes sense, so we're kind of grounded in it. But what are the things that were given to me as a result of that? And I can tell you 30 years ago, I did not feel like this at all. It was very difficult. But it's okay. I'm okay. I made it. Same as you. You made it. You will make it. You will always make it. And that's the thing that I want you to know. Not only will you always make it, the people that you love, support, listen to, you need to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, they will make it. Even the guy that's the homeless guy sitting on the ground who has not had a bite to eat, he will make it. It's all about choice at that point. In fact, one of the things that I do notice about myself, I don't know if you notice this, but when I see someone progressing, knowing that they're really doing it, they're really working it, is I have what I call a smile on my heart. A smile on my heart that I can watch them progress through life in such a wonderful way. And I watch a lot of people, and so I get to smile a lot because I know everyone's working their work, doing what they need to do. So we're going to move into to this now. So I want you to just close your eyes for a moment. And let's all just take a collective deep breath. Even everybody online, take a deep breath. Oh, that sounded good. Let's do one more. One more. And I want you to just go back to that story that I'm talking about. What is your story? What story changed your life and shifted you into a whole different direction, a whole different place of going? The story that you realized you were not moving in the direction of your heart. The one that lingered on and it took a long time for you to decide what the decision was going to be. But then one day you said, enough. I'm done. I'm done. And when you said that, which was listening to that still voice in your side, inside your mind and inside your heart, you just automatically felt better. Something shifted. Didn't know what it was, but you felt better. You had a settled feeling that, okay, I know this may be hard. I may feel broken right now, but I need to move on. I need to move forward. And you began a new story. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to think about that story, and then when you're complete with that, I want you to open your eyes and write down, what was that story? Just 10 words, just a few words, just as a reminder. Not a journal here, just a few minutes. A few words. And if you have it now, you can write it down now. Could I get a pen up here, please? We're okay. We're okay. We got it. Just a few words, not a lot. Just enough to kind of remind you that this is my story. Okay? All right, you can open your eyes and come on back to the moment now. One of the things that I've been studying more of is Stoicism. I say that correctly. And don't feel like I'm stoic, I'm like, gotta be this way. But it's very insightful. The information that I read and I go, wow, it's a little different twist on Ernest Holmes. It makes me think differently a little bit. Anyway, in September 16th, and it's a book, it's actually a book, it said, the person who perseveres through difficulties, who keeps going when others quit, who makes it their destination through hard work and honesty, that's admirable, because their survival was the result of fortitude and resilience, not birthright or circumstances. A person who overcame not just the external obstacles to success, but mastered themselves and their emotions along the way, that's more impressive. But the person who has been dealt a harder hand, understood it, but still triumphed, that's greatness. That's greatness. And I think that everybody in here is greatness, because it takes courage to do this work. All right, so some of you heard my stories and some of you haven't, so I'll give you a real simple version of it. So almost 30 years ago, I decided to leave a 7-year relationship. I gave up a 7-year drunk. I didn't know that's what I was in, but I gave it up. It took me a couple years to do that. I gave up a business partner who embezzled from me. What a discovery to find somebody that had done that to me. Maybe you can relate to this. I gave a partner who cheated on me and broke my heart. Hard stuff. And all this happened at the same time. I gave up a home that probably now is worth $1 million. Back then it was probably $500,000. My dogs, that was hard. My sanctuary, which it was a piece of property out in Hamul. But here's the thing that I gave up the most, and it took me a while to figure this out. And that was a belief that I had built what I thought was the way to prosper and succeed. But what I found out later is that it was built on quicksand, because I did not include God or energy or intelligence or whatever you want to call it. I did not include that in my formula. I just was there. Thought, I made it. I have made it. The other thing is I left with a great deal of debt that took me 20 years to pay off. 20 years to pay off. No home, just the stuff. And when I left, I just took what I thought I owned, put it in my truck, and drove away. But that was that little part that I said to you when you were in your meditation. Something told me I needed to move. I needed to shift. I could no longer take what I was experiencing. And I did it. And I want you to know that that was hard. That was hard. And it all happened at one time. It was the weirdest thing second to going to Canada this last 2 months ago. It was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me in that sense. But you know what? The reason why it happened to me that way is because I needed a 2x4 to move. Anybody stubborn in here? Yeah. When we are so stubborn, if we don't get out of our way, what happens? Who gets in our way? Spirit does. It says, boom, time for you to go. So it was my time to go. Of course, I did not understand that at the time. So in your sheet of paper, it's there. It's what are the habits and things you had to give up? The people, the things. I want you to look at this. Just write a couple things down, something to remind you, what did I give up? We need to look at what we gave up, because we're going to look at what we gained, which is so much greater. Take a moment, just write a couple words, nothing big. What did you give up? Did you give up friends? I gave up friends. Gave up my Cocker Spaniel. My love, Simon. I'll never forget that. Okay. I'm not going to let you write too much because I just want to keep you moving. This will go on forever if I let you let me go. So, Scott Aubrey is a gentleman who is a Reverend Scott Aubrey. He writes a weekly message to all the ministers in CSL. And he gives us a lot of quotes. And one of the quotes that's really struck me was this. It says, I hold in high regard the descents, in other words, the downward movements in my life experiences. In the midst of setbacks or so-called failures, I gather my inner resources, give thanks for these lessons learned, and see my journey as bright and with hope and charged with potential. I can do all things with clarity, commitment, and a deep sense of trust. When you go through stuff like this and you learn how to get to where you are today, you start to trust yourself. Did anybody trust themselves when they were going through their stuff? No. Go ahead, you can say no. It's all right. It's the truth. We didn't. I didn't. I know I didn't. I had a therapist on one side and I had a practitioner on the other side. Trying to figure this out. So what was the journey? All right, so I began my journey. The first thing that I want to say about my journey was my friends. I found out who my friends were and who they weren't. And I'm really grateful for them. And there weren't very many. Surprisingly, I thought I had friends, but there weren't very many. In fact, I found out later that as I was in the midst of my stuff, one of my friends, you'll love this one, I call on the phone. All I am is moaning and groaning, complaining, yelling, screaming, everything. You know what they did? Put the phone down where they could hear it and let me just do that for as long as I did it. And then when it got quiet, they said, I hear you, you'll be okay, and they hung up on me. They hung up on me. Doesn't sound good, but you know what? I've never forgotten that. I'm reminded by that. So when I know I'm listening to somebody else, I can have that permission. I don't have to take in what it is that they're saying. I can just be present for them. These people helped me detox. I had friends up in LA who I had worked with for years and knew my lifestyle and so forth and had no judgment over that. But they helped me to detox. And I used to drive to LA, have the beer in hand and up there. But you know what? God was talking to me too. There was just something else going on, because one time I was driving, I had a beer in this hand, and I kept getting this message that says, move to the other lane, move to the other lane. And I'm like, why move to the other lane? And so I thought, okay, I'm just going to listen to whatever this voice is. I moved to the other lane. We ran around a corner, and as we came around the corner, a car had stopped in the fast lane. I would have been dead. There's no doubt in my mind I would have been dead. So I know I was totally being guided by something greater that I didn't understand at the time. I always had a connection, but I never understood. And that day was kind of my beginning. I started drinking, what's that beer that's non-alcoholic, I think?
Beer.
Yeah, one of those. I started a change. We're going to go past 10 minutes here. So I appreciate my friends who listened to my hurt feelings today. Back then, I had hurt feelings and listened to me. And I love the friends, and most of you have heard this story, is that the friends who picked me up on a Sunday and said, we're going to take you somewhere really special. They took me to Reverend Kathy Hearn's church, dropped me off in the front, and said, we'll see you in an hour. We'll see you in an hour. They dropped me off. They dumped me. But they did come back. The gift they gave me, though, the gift that they gave me was that I never went away. From that day forward was the beginning of my life. I sat in the back of the center for 6 months and cried. And there's two things that I got out of that. One, that I could go to a place where I could heal with no judgment. Like here, right? We don't do that here. That's one of the gifts that I got that I didn't realize I would be able to give again. I was allowed to hear the words that touched my heart, that healed my heart, and that called me to something greater. I didn't understand it, but I knew that it was there. The other thing is, and I love this part, is that there's no converting, no persuading, and there's only love. So what do we do here? We don't convert you. We don't persuade you. We just love you. And so when you get love from here, you get it in an authentic way, not in a way where we have to prove anything to you. It just is. And that's the best kind of love. Ernest Holmes says this, and this is one of the things that I learned on my journey, was the world needs a spiritual conviction followed by spiritual experience. I would rather see a student of science prove its principles than to have him or her repeat all the words of wisdom that will ever be uttered. It's far easier to teach the truth than it is to practice it. So for 3 years, I practiced this, understanding what does this stuff mean. And so today, because I went through my 3 years of trying to figure out what this means, today I try to make it more simple. Make it simple. It's so simple. You're connected to something greater. It wants to work through you, and the gifts that you have, you want to give away. It's that simple. But we have to tell you how to do it the long way. So, if you want to write down what your journey of discovery was, I'll let you do that on your own, because I think that this takes some thought. But who did you forgive along the way? This one you might want to know. Who did you forgive along the way? That's number 4. Well, I forgave my exes, and along 3 years there were a lot of them because I couldn't figure out how to date. I would date at the level that I was at. So I was a reflection of myself all the time. And really it wasn't them, it was their belief systems that I had to forgive them myself about falling into those. Instead of realizing there's another way to do this. There's a whole other way of having a relationship. The thing that, I can go to all the outside people that I forgive, but the real truth is I've had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself. 2 things. One, for not getting help from outside. I lost a lot of money. And some days I even beat myself up. But it was a lesson I learned. And then the second one was giving up because what I was going through was hard. I thought, oh well, I can tough it through. But the truth is that's why you have a community. You have a community to help you through these things. So there's some of you I don't know very well, and if there's something going on, that's what we're here for. We're here for you. So I'm going to give you the lessons that I live by today, and it is going a little bit longer than normal, but it's okay. Are you okay with it? Are you getting anything out of this? Is this helping you? Okay, good. All right. So the first thing is study the science of mind. Study this stuff in whatever way you can, whatever books you have. Some of us have an affinity for Jack Addington. I love Jack Addington. I love what he says. I love how he helps us. Find the thing that speaks to you. Find it. Follow it. And if you, I've kind of gotten a little bored with Ernest at times, so I'm finding other things. And then I'm finding out that they're talking about how Ernest Holmes talked about. It's out there. Don't ignore that. Allow yourself to make mistakes. I now allow myself to make mistakes. I hate it, but I allow myself. And in fact, one of my very special people say to me, if you don't make a mistake, I always make a mistake at home, I always do, is that if you don't make a mistake, it's not perfect. There has to be, give yourself a break. I learned what a healthy relationship was, and it wasn't necessarily the person, but it was what is it inside of me that wants to be with somebody, and what does that look like? Here's what I got narrowed down to, that I would not compromise. There's certain things I would not compromise. One of them happened to be the person had to have money. How simple is that, right? They had to have a job. How simple is that? So that was one. And then the second thing was to claim what I wanted. What did I really want? And not be afraid of what I wanted to claim. Now, there's always in relationship going to be compromises. You do have that. I've been in one for almost 27 years now. Oh my God, that's a long time. And every day we have to compromise something. But the basic values of the relationship are there. That's what's important. And we have to know ourselves well enough in order to do that. Otherwise, what does God say? Yes.
God says yes.
God says yes. So if you doubt yourself, God says yes. If you think, oh, they're really cute, but they don't have any essence to them, God says, sure. No problem. I can do that. I'm serious, right? Yeah. I've watched it happen too many times to myself. The other thing is that one of the things that I did is I dug into to what other people were doing to me. Anybody get that one? Yeah. The truth is, they weren't doing anything to me. It was what I was doing to myself. And what was my pattern? I have stories beyond stories beyond stories to tell you about that, but I won't go there. I learned how to live on a little bit of money. And I think today is really a tough time. But I learned how to do that. I can remember sitting on the beach. I'll never forget this. Because I went from having loss to a big realization. And what the realization was, is I'm sitting on the beach, I'm watching, the birds and the people and I'm in the sand and all that stuff. And God said to me, you own all of this. And I went, huh? All of this belongs to you. So I looked down the beach and I looked at it and I said, I own all of this. Now, I was not alone, so everybody else there owned all of it. I owned the sunset. I owned the birds. I owned the dolphins. I owned the waves. I owned the ground that I was sitting on. I realized that I didn't have to have money to be free. Money was a way, and what little I had went to the right places, and that's all I needed to worry about. And for a year, I lived on nothing almost. I don't know how I survived it. I swear, I don't know. But I do know there was somebody, something, it, whatever you want to call it, was there with me, guiding me, directing me, making it happen. And all I had to do was pay attention. All right. Have you heard enough of that? I got more. This talk is usually about an hour long, so I'm really cutting it back. Anyway, the last question there is. Bless you. That was that. I think that was. I'm not sure who that was. You have to be where? At noon. Oh, I'll be done before then. I got about 5 minutes. We'll get you out of here. Anyway, the gifts that you give away. So that's the last question. I want you to look at that. I know I've been telling my story, but I want you to look at the gift that you give away and think about that. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to think about that. Was that you coughing then? Oh, okay. I think it was Jody. Katina, okay. So if you have anything written down, I'm going to ask you in a minute, what's the gift you give away? Think about it this way. When you meet somebody, it's something you do all the time. It's a repetitive thing that you do, that you give away. Now, if you don't have it, I'm going to give you some examples. But as I'm talking, I want you to think about, what do you give away? So here's some things that I give away. I put down, I'm a survivor of my own mistakes. And I know that we are harder on ourselves than anyone. So I give people permission to make a mistake. I give it away all the time. It's okay. Reverend Sharon Hudson once said to me, because I used to call her and just rave about things, and I would say all these things, and then I was like, okay, I'm empty now. And I'd say, I'm so sorry that I said all that to you. And you know what she said to me? She said it needed to be said. I gave permission. I have started my life over many, many times. And so when someone comes to me and is in that place of desperation, what I know for them is that they're going to be okay. So I let them know, you're going to be okay. No matter what, you are going to be okay. I've recreated my stability and my prosperity again. I never thought, thank you God, that I would ever be in the position that I'm in today. One, to have a beautiful church with a lot of people, and half are online or half are here, and to have that. In fact, I called Reverend Kathy Hearn one time. I said, this is the greatest life I've ever had. I'm having, because I have people around me that I love, and they love me. And it's just very, very wonderful. But the other part is when I left that relationship and all of that back there, I had over $100,000 in debt. And I paid it all back. It took me 20 years, but I did it. So if you are in debt, just know that it isn't about the debt. The debt is just there. But if you're really intentional on getting rid of it, guess what? Consistency consciousness and persistence will take care of it. Period. End of story. And then the last thing I want to say is this. I have, and I made a promise when I came to really want to get my life together. And this, I apologize for saying this, but I hear this often as I was born again. I don't think I was born again. I don't use that word. What I use is that God is my source. And it's ever present in my life. And I was awakened. I was consciously awakened to do something good and greater. And that's what I want us to realize, is that even the word born again, you're always there, but you're conscious now. You're conscious of moving forward into the greater life. And that's what's most important. So I'm going to ask real briefly, real quick, no stories here. Anybody want to say what they give away? Yes.
I'd like to encourage people to move out of their comfort zone.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I like to listen to people without judgment, just allow them to vent and to have their feelings.
Good. Carl.
I give as much love and kindness away as I can.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, Chris.
I'd like everyone to know the truth. You know, if everyone in the world knew the truth, there'd be no problem.
Right.
Right? That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
Sure. I guess just that I really make an effort to understand people and to know that it's okay for them, all of us, to be imperfectly perfect.
Yeah. I like that. Imperfectly perfect. Yep. Yep. Anybody else? Emma?
Acceptance,
Acceptance. Yeah. Laura?
compassion, and options.
Good. Tom?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Yeah. It's a good one. Anybody else? All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end with what the conference theme is, and then I'm going to pray us, and we'll have Joe back. So the theme of the conference is love, learn, decide, and do. Here's what I say. Love who you are. Learn to believe in your power, because this is powerful, all this stuff. Decide to be authentic, always being authentic. Anything less is not good enough. And do. Take your gift into the world and do it now. Don't wait. Today's a good day. Today is a good day to save a life. So let's pray. And so I'm knowing right here, right now, that we are absolutely surrounded by an infinite presence. A presence that moves in our life, as our life, through our life, and in and as and through us. That we are connected to this infinite, powerful presence. We call it God, we call it Jesus, we call it Allah, we call it Yahweh. Whatever name you call it, it is there. And it's intelligent. And it moves as us and through us. And so it gives us this opportunity to move and have it move through us. So I know and accept for each person here today that we came here to hear the message. The message of knowing that all the things that we have been through, all of our life is a gift. And it's the gift of understanding, the gift of growth, the gift of being able to have compassion in our heart to love another. And so I know that as we walk out of this room today, this sanctuary of goodness, that we walk out of here knowing that we can give that away. We don't have to tell our story. We can just simply give it away. The giving away of listening, of loving, of telling the truth, of being present. All those are gifts. And so I simply give thanks for today, for this truth, for the goodness of God that moves through us, knowing that as we are here, we are doing our work and we are changing the world. So with that, I release these words into the infinite law of good as I move on to Kansas City, knowing that I'm leaving our home because I know all of you are doing the good. So I let it be, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Just for me. Thank you. that good enough for next week? Okay, all right, good. Just want to make sure. Take us home.
When I woke up today, I had to say, hey, so far so good. Can't take too much for granted lately. Guess I never should. It's sure a mixed up blessing how there's something new round every twist and turn. What don't kill you makes you stronger. If you're really lucky, you live and you learn. Now there's nothing I like better than to have things go my way without knowing where you're going. Lots of things can go astray. Sure, you can go the wrong direction if your destination's no concern. And what don't kill you makes you stronger. If you're really lucky, you live and you learn. Now there are trials and tribulations, lots of hoops we all must jump through. Everybody's got to do it sometime. No one picks on you. So don't sweat it, or you'll let it tie you up in knots and make your stomach churn. And what don't kill you makes you stronger. If you're really lucky, you live and you learn. Oh, I've had teachers, priests, and preachers showing me how to toe that line. And I've had parents, friends, and neighbors give advice, and most of it was fine. All your life you get free knowledge, but wisdom's something that you have to earn. And what don't kill you makes you stronger. If you're really lucky, you live and you learn. Well, the young are getting younger as their elders grow more gray, and they've far less things in common now and even less to say. But I say, have pity on the fool who stands upon the bridge he torched to watch it burn. What don't kill you makes you stronger. If you're really lucky, you live and you learn. Now the one thing about luck is that you